And what we have here, my friends, is a 20-second timer, which this player uses to warn you that the tubes are not as yet warmed up. And this is a tube player, and it is a MHZS CD88E. Some of you will know about this as a famous, or rather infamous player for MHZS got caught cheating. It was a big story. Lampizator was looking forward to this player that was supposed to have been done from ground up, and they supposed to have developed their own DAC, but they haven't. Somebody opened up, because that's the cover for this 24-bit 192 DAC control, and in there it's just Burr-Brown Common Garden DAC, not even one of the better ones. So, but nobody, perhaps they did, but people concentrated on negative. But the rest of Lampizator article was praising the engineering and quality of build, and I agree with him. This player is extremely heavy. This is like 12 or 14 kilos, very hard to lift. It's a top loader. As you see, there's a puck there. I think there's crooked spindle, so probably a motor needs to be replaced, but Mabuchi motor is only $5. And the player, as I said, uses two tube outputs, and there are two tubes here which are probably rectifying ones. They sit on a display board of all places. But anyway, it has a nice filter. They're huge transformer. Transformer is good for power amplifier. And power supply board, nothing remarkable there. And servo DAC, an output stage. Quality Rubicon capacitors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 regulators, 2 there, 4 in a row, and 7th over there. Output op-amps, a Burr-Brown 2604, I think. They're the very good ones, one of the best. You know, nothing wrong with it at all, nice design. Mechanism is perhaps unremarkable. I think it's KSS 213, but I have to check it. I only opened it up like 10 minutes ago, so don't know that much about it. I got really basically two beefs with it. One is sort of visual. I hate blue lids. You know, they're there for show. They know that men like blue color, and they just put blue everywhere. It serves no purpose. And you know, there was a green LED in Roxanne Caspians of some sort. Apparently they were to make the thing read CDs better or sound better, but then they stopped doing it. But I mean, putting blue LEDs underneath those tubes is just silly. I mean, what's wrong with the natural glow of tubes, you know, the way they are? And my second beef is the XLRs. I mean, I'm a great fan of XLRs, and I love balanced connections, and probably this is properly balanced thing, because they got dual op-amps there. What I don't like is that they put old American system of negative on pin 2 and positive on pin 3, or cold and hot on 2 and 3, instead of a new standard that everybody else uses of 2 being hot and 3 cold. You know, Levinson's, Vadiers, Krells, all the top American manufacturers for decades now use the world standard. So that's about all, folks. It's a very good player. It sounds pretty good. Maybe not on this record because this is locally produced record. It's not very well recorded. But previously I listened to some of my regular test CDs and it was much better than most. I'll have to take it to my number one system, but of course I have to make up some cables that are reversed to what I normally have. There'll be a few more videos, only what today I've received those 4 CD players and some more there. So I don't even remember what's in them, but keep buying them and people keep sending them to me. Not that I pay that much money for them, it's just I tolerate faults. I buy faulty and I don't complain about it too much, you know, even if... well, I complain when the faults are not disclosed, but when I know what I'm buying, then it's alright. Well, thank you very much for your time, and till the next one. Bye-bye.